Men were served portions from Joseph's table, and Benjamin's portion was 5 times as large as anyone else's. And they drank and became very merry with him. And Joseph gave these instructions to the steward of his house: "Fill the men's sacks with as much food as they can carry, and put each man's silver in the mouth of his sack. Then put my cup, my silver cup, in the youngest one's sack, along with his grain money." So the steward caught up with them and accused them of stealing the cup. They said, "Why does my lord say such things? We would never do such a thing. The one who is found to have it shall die, and as for the rest of us, we will become my lord's slaves." But Joseph's steward said, "No, only the one who has the cup will become my slave." The men tore their clothes. Then they all loaded their donkeys and returned to the city. Joseph was still in the house when Judah and his brothers came in, and they threw themselves on the ground before him. Joseph said to them, "What is this you have done? Don't you know that a man like me can find things out by divining?" Then Judah came forward and said, "Please, my lord, let your servant speak a word to my lord. Do not be angry with your servant, for you are equal to Pharaoh himself. My father will die if the boy does not return. Please, I beg you, let me stay as your slave instead of the boy, and let him return to his father." Then Joseph could no longer control himself before all his attendants, and he cried out, "Have everyone leave my presence." So there was no one with Joseph when he made himself known to his brothers. And he wept so loudly that the Egyptians heard him, and Pharaoh's household heard about it. Joseph said to his brothers, "I am Joseph. Is my father still alive?" His brothers were not able to answer him, because they were terrified at his presence. Joseph said to his brothers, "Come close to me." When they had done so, he said, "I am your brother Joseph, the one you sold into Egypt." But Joseph said to them, "Don't be afraid. Am I in the place of God? You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good, to accomplish what is now being done, the saving of many lives. So then, don't be afraid. I will provide for you and your children." And he reassured them and spoke kindly to them. Word came to Jacob, "Joseph is still alive. In fact, he is ruler of all the land of Egypt." Jacob's heart grew numb. He could not believe them. But when they told him everything Joseph had said to them, and when he saw the carts Joseph had sent to carry him back, the spirit of their father Jacob revived. Israel set out with all that was his, and when he reached Beersheba, he offered sacrifices to the God of his father Isaac. And God spoke to Israel in a vision at night and said, "Jacob, Jacob." "Here I am," he replied. "I am God, the God of your father. Do not be afraid to go down to Egypt, for I will make you into a great nation there. I myself will go down to Egypt with you." Joseph got his chariot ready and went to Goshen to meet his father Israel. As soon as Joseph saw his father, he threw his arms around him and wept for a long time. Israel said to Joseph, "Now I am ready to die, since I have seen for myself that you are still alive." Joseph brought his father Jacob in and presented him before Pharaoh. And Jacob blessed Pharaoh. Pharaoh asked Jacob, "How old are you?" And Jacob said to Pharaoh, The years of my pilgrimage are 130. My years have been few and difficult. Jacob lived in the land of Egypt 17 years, and the span of his life was 147 years. As the time of Israel's death drew near, he called for his son Joseph and blessed him. He also blessed Joseph's sons, Ephraim and Manasseh, with the greater blessing going to the younger, as had happened in his own life. Israel bowed in worship on the head of his bed. Joseph fell on his father's face and wept and kissed him. Then Joseph took both of Ephraim on his right toward Israel's left hand, and Manasseh on his left toward Israel's right hand, and brought them close to him. But Israel reached out his right hand and put it on Ephraim's head, though he was the younger. When Jacob had finished giving instructions to all his sons, he drew his feet up into the bed, breathed his last, and was gathered to his people. Joseph threw himself on his father and wept over him and kissed him. Joseph directed the physicians in his service to embalm his father Israel. So the physicians embalmed him, taking a full 40 days, for that was the time required for embalming. And the Egyptians mourned for him 70 days. When Joseph's brothers saw that their father was dead, they said, "What if Joseph holds a grudge against us and pays us back for all the wrongs we did to him?" So they sent word to Joseph, saying, "Your father left instructions before he died. This is what you are to say to Joseph. I ask you to forgive your brothers the sins and the wrongs they committed in treating you so badly." Now Joseph said to them, "Don't be afraid. Am I in the place of God? You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good to accomplish what is now being done, the saving of many lives. So then, don't be afraid. I will provide for you and your children." And he reassured them and spoke kindly to them. Joseph stayed in Egypt along with all his father's family. He lived 110 years and saw the third generation of Ephraim's children. Also, the children of Machir, son of Manasseh, were placed at birth on Joseph's knees. Then Joseph said to his brothers, "I am about to die, but God will surely come to your aid and take you up out of this land to the land he promised on oath to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob." And Joseph made the Israelites swear an oath and said, "God will surely come to your aid, and then you must carry my bones up from this place."
Joseph died at the age of 110, and after they embalmed him, he was placed in a coffin in Egypt. Joseph's brothers and all those of his father's household remained in Egypt. Many years later, when the Israelites left Egypt during the Exodus, they carried Joseph's bones with them, fulfilling his final wish. His faith in God's promise never wavered. Joseph's life is a testimony to the power of faith, forgiveness, and God's sovereignty. He was hated, but he chose to love. He was enslaved, but he chose to serve with excellence. He was imprisoned, but he chose to trust God. And through his faithfulness, a nation was saved. His story reminds us that God is always working, even when we cannot see it, even when circumstances seem hopeless. God is orchestrating redemption. From pit to palace, from slavery to salvation, from betrayal to grace. This is the story of Joseph,